Hello and welcome to another episode of the Full Force Weekly, brought to you by GeneralsJoesReborn.com, with me as your host, Christopher McLeod AKA Diagnostik80. For today's episode, I'm all on my own. In this regular video series, I round up all the week's news in the world of G.I. Joe. What is it, me? It's the Full Force Weekly, and oh my god, I'm so sorry that it's so late in the day. What a day I have had. I don't want to talk about it, but yes, apologies for being late today, guys, for the weekly. Oh my goodness, I can't even. Ever since we changed the day to Friday, it's like we cannot hit 1 o'clock, and it is driving me mad. So yeah, first off, I would say full disclosure, but it's not full disclosure. It's just been a ridiculously busy day. I have multiple fronts that I'm dealing with at the moment, and it's just impossible to keep up, I'm afraid. Couldn't get the news burst out yesterday that I wanted to do. Couldn't really react to anything in a timely fashion at all this week. It's been terrible, to tell you the truth. But hopefully we can finally get... I'm not even going to say it. I'm not even going to say we're going to get back to normal service next week. It's just going to be mental. It's just going to be whatever. We'll be going at midnight at this rate. Anyway... unfortunately, Pat couldn't join because obviously it's a bit too late in the day for him. He's at work now, so annoying for Pat, unfortunately. Poor lad who hasn't been on the show now for ages. I've got loads to get through as well, but it's going to have to be a quick one, I'm afraid. That's another sad thing. It was either do a quick weekly or nothing at all, and I thought, you know, let's just do it. Tac, if it's frozen for you, my man, I'm afraid. It seems everything seems fine this end. Yeah, anyway. Okay, well, let's get on to it, shall we? Let's get into the show, because otherwise we'll be here for months. There we go. Right, so first news story is from the week is that Renegade Game Studios had their Convirtual Month of Darkness event, and it was really cool. Had loads of cool reveals in it, which we'll get to. Which we'll get through now and talk about these. But anyway, we also, I should add here, Ryan Costello's been in touch, and we're going to be having a little kind of interview with Ryan to talk about our news burst, to talk about the factions kind of game as well. So the whole Tiger Force, Python Patrol, all that kind of good stuff. We'll be talking about that particular game. And some other stuff as well, probably with these reveals too with Ryan. So yeah, keep an eye out for that next week. Depends on when I can actually get a meeting with them, I guess. But yeah, we'll be doing that next week at some point, so I can't wait for that. Anyway, during Month of Darkness, they revealed a couple of awesome things. So we'll start with G.I. Joe Mission Critical and the expansion for the Mission Critical game, Cobra Ascendant, which features Rock and Roll Bazooka, Serpentor, and the twins specifically here in this particular expansion set. There was a Jordan Gator and Anais Morgan were the kind of the presenters for this section of the Renegade Convirtual, and they talked us through all the new stuff, all the new games, the new cards. Bazooka obviously is a missile specialist, and Rock and Roll is a machine gunner. And there you go. There's some artwork as well of those particular cards. They also revealed the Tomax, Zaymot, and Serpentor cards as well. So yes, again, some classic. I think actually that Serpentor artwork reminds me of Robert Atkins. I think that's an Atkins piece. And Tomax and Zaymot, that might be specific for the set, unless it's popped up in comics in the past, but I don't recognize those. As for Bazooka and Rock and Roll, I believe those were those were kind of new for the game in terms of artwork, which is nice. And then they also showed the little pieces you'll get in that Mission Critical expansion, and those look really cool as well. They had a really good paint segment on that Renegade Convirtual as well. Really good one where they did Jinx, and Jinx looked really cool. And it was kind of more of the kind of Valor versus Venom Jinx, I guess, but like the modern version, like maybe the modern 4-inch version Jinx style with the blindfold and everything and the long black hair. Really cool. Anyway, we also got the Silent Interlude, which does have beautiful cover art by Robert Atkins there. And you can see Snake Eyes taking his time to open that chute, I will say. I feel like he's a little bit too low at that point. But then again, you could also take it too literally and say that the giant Destro ghost can see him in the background. But yeah, I do like this cover. I think it's really nice, and it's really cool because this particular silent interlude. We'll go through the sections. Obviously, we've got some new cards in there. We've got Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes cards in there, obviously from the silent interlude comic, the famous one, issue 21. I think that's where the basis of this is obviously around. I know she used the blindfold in the 87 movie W, but I'm talking specifically the figure they were doing was the modern version where she has a long ponytail and the blindfold and the gear. Okay. But yeah, I'm fully aware she had a blindfold in the movie, cracking film, and the best G.I. Joe movie to date still. They also showed the loyalty and accusation cards, which I believe these are new to the game, I want to say. I can't remember because I wasn't really paying enough attention to the stream at that time. I was multitasking as per usual. Yeah, so that's pretty interesting. I'll be delving into this in way more detail with Ryan next week, no doubt. We'll get into this in a big way, and he can explain everything in detail. But this is the cool thing. In the similar way that they did the flag for the Raise the Flag deck building game, lols, they've also done this beautiful castle as well for Destro's Castle, which is really funny and fun, I should say. Yeah, but like I like that they're doing these kind of set pieces as well to go along with the game, so you can kind of help with the imagination as you're going through like a deck building game or a role-playing game. I kind of like these, so that was a really nice addition as well to the Silent Interlude, which is an expansion for the deck building game, I should say. I didn't say that beforehand, I don't think. And yeah, and then we also got the Standee Pack 1, the role-playing game Standee Pack. So if you are doing a role-playing game, you can utilize these little standees as well. Again, I need to get into these games. I have a few of them and just haven't had the time to get stuck in. I really want to, because the deck building game apparently is quite an easy one to play on your own as well. I kind of want to play it with friends, but when you don't have any, no, I'm kidding. We'll probably get some sort of game going at some point in the future, and I really do want to do the role-playing game as well. It's just finding other people that want to do it, isn't it? Really. But yeah, cool stuff. They also kind of semi-revealed the Axis and Allies for G.I. Joe, but that was already revealed, as it were, and they said there would be more information coming soon for this. But yeah, again, another interesting one to kind of go with on that one. And then finally, we had the Renegade. They kind of did like some bundle packs for, like, you know, if you wanted to kind of get involved and start building your kind of game collection, either role play or deck building or mission critical. So they've got little kind of specials going on. I think they're still happening. You can check that out on the Renegade Con virtual website. I will put links in the description. I haven't done because obviously I was in a rush today. I will put some links in the description below later, probably after the show, probably later tonight, just to help. Or you could just go on our Facebook page or Twitter pages and find the links that way. Or you could just go to their page and find it. It's up to you, really. Lots of options. Yeah, same W. I have to find the players, definitely. Finding the players to do this. But you can, I'm pretty sure the deck building game you can play on your own. I'm not sure about the role-playing game. Probably can. It would be a bit boring on your own, though, wouldn't it? Oh, yeah, sorry, getting ahead of myself. Next, we do have, I know this is quite fast, but that's Renegade Game Studios. Like I said, I will be talking to Ryan Costello next week, who's been doing a lot of the writing for these particular games. So I will be talking to him in depth about the Factions game. I keep forgetting what it's called. Bear with me 2 seconds. It is the Ferocious Fighters. That was it. Yes, the Ferocious Fighters, and we'll be able to be talking all about this. I love this image as well of the Tiger Force guys. Really cool. Spray painting a water moccasin, amazing stuff, or just painting it with, like, you know, regular, not even spray. But yeah, anyway, I'll be talking to him all about that, and I'm excited to talk about it as well. Yes. So next up, then, we have some classified news. In actual fact, with the classified news, we've kind of got a bunch of different things to talk about because we have a bit of breaking news today for Classified, but we'll start with a bit of buzzer. Yes, Stephen, I am a very busy guy. And it's getting more and more ridiculous. But anyway, Classified buzzer in stock at BBTS. Where did this come from? It's just non-stop. So I expect very likely that we'll see more of the figures from that wave kind of creeping into stock for multiple stores, not just BBTS, but kind of everywhere soon. Whew, it is getting extraordinarily difficult to keep up with not just G.I. Joe, but Classified on its own. And I will say, the full disclosure, we are buying a house, Kate and I, and it is taking up, that is a chunk that is being taken up in terms of my time, of course, is getting that kind of sorted and dealing with that. But it's very exciting. The only obviously caveat there is that we have put a freeze on everything. So I'm not going to be picking up any Classified figures for a good number of months. So we're not going to be having any unboxings, unfortunately, in the near future. So I know, a bit of a shame, but we'll get back into it as soon as we get settled and sorted. So just to kind of give you an idea of the content, we're not going to be doing many unboxings for the next couple of months. Probably going into next year, honestly. So I'll be a bit behind when it finally comes time to, get back into the swing of things. But, that's life, isn't it, basically? And you just have to deal with it sometimes. So we are, and it's for the greater good. And when we get our house sorted out, I'll be able to do more streaming from the house because we'll have space where I'm not doing it basically on Kate's lap all the time, which obviously is one of the reasons why I do a lot of streaming away from the house currently. So again, just to give you a heads up on that, not many unboxings to come, but buzzer's here. So for those that are going to be getting him, I'm very jealous because obviously it's a character that I grew up with in the Action Force International Heroes era, with Action Force Monthly and Action Force Weekly. Buzzer was a huge, part of that. Buzzer, Ripper, and Monkey Wrench, in actual fact. Not Torch. Didn't get Torch in the comics. Torch was in the cartoon, though, so I'll have to give it that. Thank you, Christopher, for the congratulations. Supdon3 says, I remember Rock and Roll was out a few weeks before the other figures at BBTS. Yes, that's true, actually, Supdon. So, so it's going to be, I would imagine we'll start seeing more of the wave creeping through, though. But that's quick. That is a quick turnaround. And it's getting quicker and quicker. And like, as Emily has stated on the interview we did with the Hasbro team very recently, another one to come, by the way, then we're going to be having a lot of figures at the end of this year. And then hopefully by the start of next year, it will be back to a regular rhythm, fingers crossed, because it's very difficult to deal with this influx of stuff. RKW says Chris needs review samples. I don't think it won't happen. And honestly, RKW, that's not what I'm not. No, I just won't accept it. And I'm just going to have to go with the situation that, no unboxings for the time being. We'll get back to it, though. We'll get back to it. It's all about patience, all about, biding your time and doing making sure the priorities are in place beforehand. Anyway, so that's buzzer. But we do have a bit of breaking news. I actually went ahead one panel, but this is the break. We'll do the breaking news first, and then we'll come back to the other thing. Just classic McLeod maneuverage right now at the moment. I'm all over the place. But yes, Classified Alpine gets a name drop, a name-only drop, I should say. Yes, Emily Bader has featured at the Super7 panel as a guest for NYCC. And during that panel, she name-dropped that Classified Alpine was coming. So this is very exciting for a lot of fans. I know a lot of people have been in the comments over the past, since Classified kicked off. It's been constant in the comments that Alpine be in the line, because obviously we had Bazooka, so obviously Bazooka and Alpine go together. we've got quick kick as well. So like I feel like the trio are going to be complete eventually very soon. So I'm guessing with the name only, it'll probably be like later on next year. Maybe he's one of the code names that we still don't have a place for. Maybe, I don't know what kind of, if he's going to be a deluxe figure, if he's going to be, we don't know anything at this point. So hopefully we can get some more information over the next couple of weeks. Yeah. What else on this one? Yeah, so this is one of those ones where I think that if you were to do a Alpine with like decent features, decent gear, like actual mountain climbing stuff, rather than like Wolf Spider's bit of rope, if you gave him lots of cool mountaineering gear that kind of did a more interactive sort of thing with the figure, then you could be in the deluxe kind of side of things. You could throw some other stuff in there. You could throw like a load of gear in there to kind of like, I don't know, kit him out with a forward observer unit or something, but not necessarily that, but like more interesting equipment for him that would kind of bulk him out. Alternatively, you could probably get away with doing Alpine as a single carded figure and just have the kind of gear that his vintage version had. This one definitely needs a backpack. I'm sorry. This one, like, if we've been cutting backpacks out a lot in the classified series, and like on one hand, if they don't have a backpack, at least you don't have that situation where it's falling out all the time, because that is still a problem in my opinion. I think it's more to do with some of the older molds, like the Snake Eyes, like deluxe mold, like that being used for the recent Desert Commando Snake Eyes, has a real issue with the backpack staying in, because it's going through two secondaries and it's going into the back, and it doesn't have a strong enough connection anyway. So I kind of feel like, in some cases they need to improve on that. But I think they are doing it with other figures, because I've had other figures and their backpacks are fine in recent releases. But it does kind of like odd issues crop up on what you would think would be figures that could, have been like fixed in the future, But that's the problem again with reutilizing a lot of parts, is if you're reutilizing a torso, either you have to make the backpack peg a little bit thicker, or you have to redo that torso to make the peg hole smaller. So it's hard, man. Like I get it, but something has to be done. Like that has to be dealt with, I think, the backpack situation. Anyway, yes, Classified Alpine is coming to the Classified series. That courtesy of Emily Bader name dropping. The other thing that is zipped past, of course, was today's Walmart, what they called pre-orders. So Wolf Spider, Shadow Tracker, and Tunnel Rat went up today officially, because it's the 13th, isn't it? For the Night Force kind of themed Walmart figures. So yeah, you can actually get them now. Links will be in the description eventually. And yeah, Wolf Spider, Shadow Tracker, and Tunnel Rat all available now. I think on Hasbro Pulse, once again, they sold out pretty soon. But again, Hasbro Pulse only get a small allocation when it's a partner exclusive. So that's just how you have to deal with it. And yeah, so Wolf Spider, Shadow Tracker, and Tunnel Rat are available now. Boom, there you go. I think that's everything for Classified. I would be doing way more interaction, but we do have to keep this one short, I'm afraid. I'm so sorry, guys. Leon Jama has got a great idea. Let's just go back to Alpine again. I like the hammock you sleep halfway up the mountain on. That would be kind of cool, wouldn't it? That would be really cool, actually, as an additional element where you could kind of like, again, utilize it on like a, I don't know, like a little rock face or something. So toy photographers could have a field day. That'd be really fun, actually. That would be really fun. We'll be getting to that news very soon, Road Pig John, don't you worry. But yeah, I like that, Leon, in terms of like gear that you could kind of kit Alpine out with. That's a pretty good shout. I'd like to kind of see them maybe do a little bit more in the backpack so that stuff comes off it, because too many backpacks have just been a block that then has something kind of like a peg sticking out, and it can be a little bit awkward looking. So it would be nice if they did some, like, I don't know, more kind of interactive elements that weren't necessarily, like Snowjob's backpack, for example, which is sensational. And those little plug-in straps, so cool. That is still one of my favorite figures of the line so far. Snowjob's phenomenal. Snow Serpent's pretty crazy. Tripwire's probably number one at the moment, not just for the fact of, but like also the fact that the figure is just phenomenal. And all the gear he comes with, just next level. And he's got an animal companion. Amazing. But also I'd throw Grunt up there too. I think Grunt is such an under the radar, absolute 5 mic classic for the classified series. I love that figure. Yes, hope they do more interactive accessories, ropes, hooks, parachutes. Same here, Super Saiyan. I think that would be brilliant. Yeah, they did it in the Retaliation movie rock face sequence. Yes, Leon, I'm totally with you on that. I think it would be wicked to do that kind of hammock thing. I think it'd be well good. Right, right then. I think that's all that we can talk about with classified for now. Let's move on to the biggest news story, I would say, of the week, and obviously one that is probably would take more time, and I should probably take more time over it. Lots to get through, so let's just do it. It's Super 7. Yes, Super 7 have revealed the Cobra mothership and everything that entails. Hefty price tag, I have to admit, and it hasn't necessarily raced out of the blocks, unfortunately. So I think this is a phenomenal piece of excellence. It's so cool. It's way bigger than I think a lot of people gave it credit for or even thought it would be, and has lots of cool stuff going on. Guys, if you haven't checked out Super 7's walkthrough video of this, you need to. It is unbelievably cool. Again, I will get the link in the description, but you can check out our Facebook page, Twitter page, and of course Super 7's page. Check out Super 7's pages because they posted the video as well, and it just has a little like walkthrough as if you're inside this thing and you see all the different features and all the different elements. It's absolutely freaking phenomenal. And again, like, comes with loads of cool stuff and quite a huge talking point in the O-ring department. Yes. So obviously, Hasbro had been keeping that information very close to their chest in that they couldn't talk about the O-ring scenario. And this is probably why, because they're handing the baton over to Super 7 for it. Now, I don't know if the whole O-ring line depends on the success of this, because I don't think it does. I think they're probably going to do the O-ring stuff anyway. It makes you wonder, like, how that's going to be handled, and like if they're going to kind of, wind back the amounts they're doing of reaction to, to do O-ring, or if it's going to replace reaction. Not really sure. So this is obviously questions for Brian, which we will discuss hopefully soon when we can get an interview with him. I'll see if we can get something done for next week, but it might be the week after. It depends on Brian's availability. But this is definitely something we could really get stuck into in terms of, some pretty hefty talking points here. Now, let's talk this mothership thing, because like I said, it's huge. Like 30 something inches in it. Like, we've got an image, obviously. Sorry, a lot of images here going on. Let's talk about it bit by bit then. Cobra mothership early bird exclusive. You're getting 2 parachutes. If you get in the early bird pre-order phase, 1012 to 1022. The parachutes are functional and they're soft vinyl. And I imagine they work with both well, I'm going to say reaction and O-ring. Just going to go say it. But I don't know. Maybe just reaction. That's something, again, that's another question I will have to ask Brian. If anyone knows in the comments, I haven't seen that information just yet, but I assume they work with both versions of the figures. Either way, really fun little early bird exclusive. So if you want to get in early, and also this is a crowdfunder, so it's not one of those things where you're going to be charged immediately. So if you want to if you think like, because one of the things is on this one is I'm out of this one, unfortunately. If I'm not collecting anything right now, I'm not going to be dropping almost $500 excuse me, on this, no matter how freaking good it is. And it is friggin' amazing. It's just fallen at the most inopportune moment for me personally. Excuse me. But yeah. What do you, I mean, are you guys going to be getting in on this? Because it is massive. It is awesome. And it would be brilliant for any O-ring collector. I'm telling you that now. I wonder, though, if they may have gone too big too early on this one, where you could have maybe gone a couple of levels lower for a decent sized vehicle, like maybe the Aspid, or maybe something that isn't quite as dramatically huge or involved. But I mean, it's still freaking amazing. Do you know what I mean? And but like when you see the fact that it's a high price point, because I mean that's what it's going to take to blooming make the bloody thing, unfortunately. But it's a high price point and it's a high back account. I don't know what happens if it doesn't make it, but I don't feel truly confident that it can. And the fact that obviously, you know, the Thundercats, I wouldn't say the Thundercats is a bigger brand than G.I. Joe. I really wouldn't. 100% wouldn't. But they managed to fund a pretty phenomenal cat's lair at 6-inch scale. And I wonder if that's one of those things that, you know, a lot of people went on that because it was cool and because maybe bridged a couple of, you know, fandoms, what have you. And that's kind of maybe priced them out. I don't know. But it hasn't shot out the gate. As cool as this thing is, I do think... Oh, the payment plan over a time period they have offered, Justin. Yeah, that's a good point. That is a good point. Raw Talk Real Deal says they need to go bigger, in my opinion. Okay, that's interesting. Bigger for the price point, maybe. Yeah. There's a lot that this is the thing, though, isn't there? I mean, we've had what? 2 very successful, amazing, 3 successful HasLabs for G.I. Joe in O-Ring with the Sky Striker, and then of course 2 classified in a row. It's a lot to ask, and I mean they've spread it out as much as they can. Clearly, you know, they've pushed it right to this end of the year. I have a feeling that, you know, they wanted to maybe go earlier on it, but this is where we are at with it at the moment. Anyway. It's an interesting thing to talk about, and it's something that I would like to, you know, we'll probably talk about this more often during, you know, the entire situation, and of course when I speak to Brian about this as well. Hopefully we can get to him before the end of the actual campaign. Whew. Anyway. Yeah, check out the video because it shows some really cool interiors. So I was also looking at comments to see what we could talk about there. But yes, it's so cool to see the video as they walk through this whole place. I love the fact the doors, the Cobra sigil has like sliding doors on it. The globe inside of the Cobra sigil and it's really cool as well. I love that. All of the little details in the little kind of pilot section, the kind of viewing area. It's very fun. I love it. I really do. This is a great shot of it as well. I kind of love this with the lasers firing at the top. Now, you can obviously take elements of, you know, the top off. Lots of different panels come off the top, so you can have different sections that you're kind of playing with at a time, or displaying, or taking toy photography, or whatever you want to say other than playing. It's up to you. But I'd be playing with the bloody thing. It looks amazing. Here's the reaction figures with the parachutes on as well. And again, we'll get to the figures too, because there's 2 different types, 2 different styles, and different deco variations in different tiers. So we've got a lot going on here. Now, this is, I believe, the base package. So you've got the Cobra mothership as is, no additional elements. You've got the sticker set. You've got the trouble bubble missiles times 2, stands times 3. They plug into the bottom of this thing to make it look like it's launching, which is pretty cool. 8 explosives, which on the video show you kind of, they run along the top and drop out of the hole. Like, it's really cool, really awesome little feature. You've got a gunner O-ring figure, a gunner reaction figure, and then obviously 3 gunner reaction backpacks, and 4 each of the gunner and commander rifles, which go in the armory, which is really cool, which we'll get to in a second. Now, here's a shot of all of the panels off the top taken off. So you've got kind of seated sections in the front and the sides. You've got I think the armory's in the back. Then you've got the missile ports. You've also got what in the front, you've got on the left a prison, and the armory's on the right-hand side, sorry, at the top there. And at the back, you've got the sections where the missiles fall out, kind of roll down and drop out of. Really, really awesome. I love the fact it's shaped like a Cobra sigil as well. That's something I didn't even really contemplate, but obviously I just thought it was for some reason, just a big random disc. But no, it's not. It's actually shaped like a Cobra sigil, and that makes a lot of sense. I love it. I think it's brilliant. I think it's a great addition to any O-ring or reaction line collection, I should say. And just imagine the fun possibilities you can have with this. Someone asked as well a while back. Anyway, yeah, sorry, I've missed a big section there of the comments. I don't know what's going on, but someone had asked me does it kind of like land and port onto a terradrome, and I was like, do you know, that would be pretty cool if it could do that. I don't know if it does. I'm gonna have to ask Brian if it does. But how cool would it be to have a terradrome and then have that sitting on top of it? I think it'd be really awesome. Are the O-ring figures straight arm doomed? I don't know. We'll probably get to that in a second. Yeah, anyway, here's another shot from the side. You can see the prison there a little bit with the sliding red door. There's a really fun shot of Flint. There's a chain in there as well, which locks into the wrist. And there's a fun image of Flint being like locked up in the video, which is pretty dope. Yeah, anyway, very, very cool. This thing looks phenomenal. There it is from all the different angles, front, side, and back. From 3 angles, I should say. 32.3 inches wide, 7.1 inches tall. 7.1 inches tall. Is that yeah. I'm thinking of like my goodness, that's going to be thick. It's a big chunk, isn't it? That is a chunking great thing. Brilliant stuff. Then we've got the panels, kind of explosion view of the panels missing. This is a swing round shot of the front to back, looking in at the kind of cockpit angle. A little opaque. We don't need to look at all of these. That just shows the doors opening and some sections moving as well. The panels coming up from the floor, so as well in the kind of like seated areas, kind of like the communications rooms or whatever they might be. The Cobra sigil door kind of opening and the prison door opening. That's pretty dope. Yeah, I love that. A shot from above. There's so many like blooming shots of this thing. We don't need to see all of them. Now, this is, I want to say lighting then, electronics, right? So we're going to get lights on the bottom to kind of like, kind of make it look like there's, I guess, glow from the engines for takeoff, which is pretty cool. I might just be glow in the dark. Is it glow in the dark or lights? Let me know, please. I can't remember. But very cool. There they are, obviously not in the dark. Maybe it is glow in the dark, or maybe they are lights. I don't remember. And I'll just look at the thing. I'll look at the thing. Because that will be a lot easier. I'll look at the actual thing. Stop saying thing. I tell you what, though, my goodness, there's a lot going on with this. Stunning. Right, here we go. I'm just going to check the information to see exactly what we're dealing with. Yes, it's $495, which, you know, that's expensive. Pre-orders will close on December the 11th, though, so plenty of time to really think about this. Currently, though, only 222 backers, and they need like, was it 7,000? They need a lot. We're nowhere near the 4K goal. Yeah, 7K. Tier 1 is 5K, Tier 2 is 6K, Tier 3 is 7K. So obviously the goal at 4K, if you're not going to get all the extras, do I think it can fund? I think there's a possibility it can hit 4K, but That is I think that might be a stretch. It is electronics. Thank you, Leon. I was just going to read it, but yeah, you got there before I did. It is electronics. Okay, thanks. Electronic lights, very interesting and cool. And also, I love the fact that those 3 ports that don't have any lights in will obviously be where the stands go, which is pretty dope. Yeah, electric lights, it's all good. I didn't want to say the wrong thing. Is all. So yeah, phenomenal stuff. Brilliant. Here's a nice little kind of close up, or a bit more of a close up of the kind of like communication stations on the side, which are really neat. I did see, I think the Cobra Island, I think that's Cobra Island sticker, isn't it, on there, which is another little nice touch. They're the missiles, or the bombs. They're not missiles, they're bombs. They're the bombs that can be dropped, and they kind of go along the rack and drop out of the same section, which on the bottom we'll probably be able to see. I think it might just be where the is it that I see where it is. So it's where the stands go, just to the right at the bottom, those 2 ports basically. Yeah, very cool. Love it. Because you can also see on the bottom they've put like 2 warning arrows as well, like red warning arrows to show there are going to be bombs coming out of here. Yeah, really nice. Another, I think there must be a flip shot, or it's just the same shot again. Oh yeah, I've already been in here, that's why. The armory is a nice touch. Doors open and close again, and you can get to the backpacks and the rifles, which is pretty dope. Again, I love the armory edition because it reminds me of the movie when the Crimson Guard are getting their guns when Pythona's infiltrating. It reminds me of the tactical battle platform, which I've always loved. And I love their little kind of weapons rack type situation. It reminds me of the mobile command center because they had one as well. There's just so many awesome things. The HQ. I love this. Did the Terradrome have an armory? Can't remember. Fake fan. Anyway, that's whatever. And there's the armory door closing. Now, actually, with the armory door, yeah, it's 2 doors that flap closed. Yeah, cool. Flaps. Brilliant. Now, this is the O-ring figure that is causing all the hubbub now, isn't it? Like, this is interesting. Yeah, Leon, the pricing. No, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying I'm out because it's just I can't do it. But yeah, I get that. Obviously, Super 7 has to pay the Hasbro royalty and fund tooling against a smaller audience. Absolutely understand that as well. But it's just so out of reach, unfortunately, for me right now. Anyway, the O-ring situation. Now, this a lot of people were saying, well, this obviously, that's a obviously like a nail in the coffin for the G.I. Joe Hasbro O-ring. And of course it was. We knew that anyway, that it was effectively more than a hiatus. It was just they weren't dealing with it. It was like that's it for O-ring for now. We'll look at it later. But I think one of the main reasons was because they'd handed it over to Super 7 for this particular situation. So I have a feeling that was why they weren't talking about it, because they wanted Super 7 to reveal they were doing the O-ring stuff. And in the way that these things take in terms of development, I believe Brian has been quite open and he wanted O-ring from the off, but obviously they weren't. That Hasbro wanted to do it in house. Now he's got the opportunity. It'll be interesting to see how that goes, how he works with it. They are offering 5 packs of figures as a subset outside of the mothership. That is true, Droz, but isn't it? Let me just double check the vernacular. Let me just check the text on that, because yes, they are. So while the Cobra mothership may come with 2 Cobra Viper gunners, you'll need a full crew to take down G.I. Joe. To fill every available seat on the Cobra mothership, there are 2 separate Cobra Viper gunner 5 packs that are also available to fans that order the Cobra mothership. So you have to order the Cobra mothership in order to get those. It's not outside of the mothership. That's what I'm getting from that text, because it says to fans that order the Cobra mothership. That is pretty clear in terms of its situation there. So I think the 5 packs are only available to those who order the mothership. Unfortunately, you can't just get them for the sake of it. Yeah, it's an add-on. It's a 5-pack add-on for both reaction. And speaking of reaction, there's the reaction figure as well. of these kind of like Viper Pilot hybrid sort of deals. Now they call them, was it the Cobra Viper Gunners and Cobra Viper? What was it? I forget the other one. I think it was Gunners and something else, but I can't think of the name of it. Hang on. Maybe they're just Gunners. Yeah, they are just Gunners, aren't they? Yeah, so they're Cobra Viper Gunners, effectively. Now, what else was I going to say about this? Yeah, obviously, obviously for O-Ring, that was the situation. Hasbro just couldn't talk about it and wanted Super 7 to reveal that. Makes sense. Makes sense. So, with that said, I would suggest that yes, it's over with Hasbro for O-Ring for now. Super 7 will probably go forward with O-Ring no matter what the success of the mothership. But that is a question I will definitely pose to Brian when we speak to him. Now, coming out of the, thanks to Jim Smith here, coming out of the NYCC panel, Brian confirmed they are swivel arm O-rings. They're not straight arm. So that's great. Yes, that's it pretty much. Yeah, a punk with toys. I can tell you that Brian did want to do O-ring originally. They did want O-ring originally. So I'm just happy that they can do that now. It might have just been a rhetoric thing at the time to just to say that a punk with toy, I think, but effectively they wanted to do O-ring from the get-go, but couldn't because Hasbro wanted it in-house at that particular time. Now, moving through, like I said, we've got the reaction gunner as well, so you're getting both. Now, they throw these in again, but we've already seen that on the other image. Yes, we know that's the early bird exclusive. We get it. The parachutes. There we go. More of that. Now, tier 1 unlock. Now, those two gunner seat kind of positions clip onto the front of the mothership in kind of a similar way as they do in the intro. You see those kind of, I think you see, is it Roblox grabs one of the twins off it and throws him off? I can't remember now. I'm blanking on that intro. Fake fan. But yeah, I kind of love that they're doing these. Weird that they're a tier 1 unlock though. So if we do get the 4K, you don't have those kind of gun positions at the front, which is interesting. But you also get the extra stickers as well. So that's tier 1. Then we get tier 2, which is the trouble bubbles. Now, these are fun little additions. What I will say, though, is they kind of look a little bit like, almost like Lego. These actually give me vibes of, oh, God, I'm blanking on it now. They give me vibes of the Built to Rule era. Do you know what I'm saying? I think it's just the kind of very angular kind of edges when you've got like the kind of like the side panel sections with the edges on it, the kind of handlebars section at the front with the gun on it. It's got that kind of like very blocky kind of textures going on. But again, lovely little addition. And it's interesting, isn't it? Because obviously we have trouble bubbles in the O-ring line. But, these are effectively, it'd be interesting to see how well they work with the O-ring figures. But yeah, definitely gives me Built to Rule vibes based on those kind of like sharp edges. More so than the actual real trouble bubble does, and the classified trouble bubble, definitely. Playmobil flight pods. Anyway, a nice little addition, and they go really well inside. Again, check out that video of the walkthrough because they have those kind of stationed inside the mothership, and they look great. Now, excuse me, a tier 3 unlock is sort of like this kind of deco being almost like the Viper officer from Classified, or the one from the 4-inch modern era. That kind of grey with the red, and yeah, again, it's just a deco change on the Viper gunners, basically, reaction and O-ring. Yeah, I had Gung Ho and Cobra Moray set, says Rexship85 for Built to Rule. Yes, I think I had the Gung Ho set. I also had. Do you remember the? Oh my god, what was the name that they messed up? The club messed up on his stand. Hollow Point. It was a typo. They put Hallow Point when they did the Hollow Point figure for the 4-inch modern line. Of course, that being a figure from the Built to Rule era, and and they had to send out figure stands with the right spelling on after the fact. You guys remember that? Hallow Point. Oh, that was a fun time, wasn't it? My goodness. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go check out. It might be on Yojo. It might have been a bit too far. Actually, it might be beyond that now because Yojo stopped kind of putting figures up from a certain period of time. Hollow Point looked like a tractor driver, says Leon. Yeah, like Halloween, says Diana. Yeah, it was Hallow Point. Hallow be thy name point. Anyway, yeah. So that's tier 3, which I think was that's 5K. I don't know. No, actually, tier 3 is 7K. So that would be the last tier unlock, the redecoed gunners. Yeah. The Cobra Mothership O-ring 5-pack add-ons we spoke about before. I don't know why I said Cobra Mothership so emphatically then. Like that was the headline. No, I'm doing like a Ron Burgundy thing at the moment. But yes, 5-pack, as we just talked about, O-ring 5-pack add-on. If you pre-order the Mothership, you get the ability to add on a 5-pack of O-ring and or reaction 5-packs as well. So yeah, that I think is everything to cover for the Mothership. It's a lot. We've still managed to actually get an episode out of this. I'm surprised, but I will be bringing it to a close very shortly. Guys, what else for the Mothership? Anything else you want to talk about? I'm going to probably call it there, honestly. But yeah, I would have done a news burst yesterday with this. Unfortunately, just couldn't do it. You're lucky to have for me to have squeezed out almost an hour for this weekly. I don't know if lucky is the word, honestly. I'm going to try and be more on it next week. It's just really difficult. I'm so sorry. I'm literally multiple angles, and it is just insane. Diane, the comic previews, I know that I leave to the comic experts, aka Talking Joe, and I may do some special when I get the bandwidth. I'll do some special kind of episodes with Mark for that. But at the moment, it's just not possible. I can't squeeze it all in. But I will say, I will say that for you. The Duke #1 Ashcan at NYCC this weekend. Panel is on Saturday. Thank you for that, Diana, just for the extra information on that. But yeah, I just don't have the bandwidth to do this stuff at the moment, and it is just getting very, very busy, and I have to, kind of keep it on theme. Like I said, Comics Burst is where that would happen, but I just don't have the bandwidth to do that level of amount of videos at the moment. But we'll get there. We will get there. And once the house is sorted out, and once we have the internet set up there, I'll be doing way more stuff, way more content, probably a bit later in the evening, or like early, when I can. But obviously, I'll be doing more content because I can. I would say we've got more coming, but at the moment, like my life is an absolute dumpster fire of having to do everything. So I will be attempting to do a Let's Talk Classified Torch video very soon. I've done most of the copy, so I'll just have to record that, edit it together, and jobs are good. So hopefully I can get that done over the weekend. We've got to add Alpine now to the list. We've got a bunch of name onlys to do, haven't we? We've got Norgahide, we've got Night Creepers, we've got the Cobra Ferret, we've got Alpine now. The only ones I probably won't be doing are Retro Beachhead, and of course Eels and Snow Serpent, because they're retro and you know what I'm saying. Super Saiyan, I would do Let's Talk Classified 60th, but we've already seen the figures. The whole point of that particular series of videos is to, when they do a name only drop, is we kind of discuss what that figure could look like or what it could be, and we do like a little history of that particular figure. In terms of the 60th, they've already been revealed. So maybe we'll do something else with the 60th. Maybe we can do like a more involved episode on the monthly where we talk about the 60th, which is probably something that we can probably do. I would like to say we can get a monthly out in October. But I don't want to promise anything right now, guys. So I'll see you next week. I'm just kidding. We've got more to do. Just before we go, let's get into the shout-outs. Have you tried Hoarder yet? No? Well, you need to. If you have a collection of things and want to create a fun and easy way of organising it and of course showing it off, then get involved. You can post items and build collections, and you can drop a status like getting a fun delivery or seeing some awesome related stuff on your travels. Build your collections with Hoarder. The app is free to download on Google Play and the App Store, so what are you waiting for? Get to hoarding. Yes, go and get hoarding. Now, a couple of questions came in while that was happening. Diana has asked, are you still home shopping or have you found one? We found one. We're in the process. We're in that process. We're literally in the paperwork phase. The house is effectively locked at this stage. As in not the doors, but yeah. So we're at that stage. It's a lot. It is a lot of everything. So yeah, we are beyond searching. We found one. It's beautiful. And we're very excited for it. And yeah, I'll be posting stuff on the old personal page eventually, probably a picture of it. But yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that when we get to it. But yeah, I'm not going to say it's ours yet because it's not. But we're in that process. So that's all I can say on that one. Now it's like a signed an NDA. Yeah, right. Shout outs. Let's start with Pat and Phil. To Pat first, my co-host who's not on the show. Sorry again, Pat. I do this to you every week. I say, yes, I'm good for one. And then it gets to about 12 and I'm like, it's not happening. I'm so sorry. And then Pat has to go to work. So sorry to Pat again. He's probably going to get the feeling that I'm just not having him on the show anymore. But that isn't the case. It's just, I am genuinely, since we changed to Fridays, it's just forget about it. Just forget about it. So yes, that is a shout out to Pat and to, of course, to Phil, who we always shout out as well. But, shout out to Phil as well on that one for articulated points. Go check them out. Link in the description. Shout out, of course, to the fam, UK-based and US-based, and of course to Kate and Phoebes. And we had a family round over last weekend. We had our brother and sister-in-law, my brother and sister-in-law, Kate's brother and sister-in-law. And it was great. Massive shout out to Drew and Ree. Had a great time. Saw lots of sights around the place, and yeah, and it was awesome. So big shout out to them, and yeah, I hope you're having a great time back in Missouri. WJ, what's with Mr. Bullhorn? Mr. Bullhorn is the shout outs. That's the whole point. He's the image that signifies that there are shout outs right now. Also shout out to Brian Sauer for doing our amazing graphics. And of course, link to that, Assembly Required, which is called Disassembly Required at the moment. November 3rd and 4th, Hy-Vee Hall, downtown Des Moines. It's coming. It's soon. Get involved. If you can, go check out Codename Iowa on Facebook and Instagram for any information. And also, here is a little all points bulletin. Through incredible cunning or just dumb, stupid luck, the Dreadnoks have once again eluded capture. While Missouri State Patrol officers were busy jamming to Satin's performance, who can blame them? The 80s fashion-attired criminals allegedly shed their get-ups and absconded via the backstage area. Last known suspects reportedly helped themselves to a few road snacks. No, I've read the wrong thing there. Last known location of the gang is a gas station approximately 40 miles north of Branson. Suspects reportedly helped themselves to a few road snacks, emptying the coolers of grape soda. Emptying, I think I should say, the coolers of grape soda and clearing the shelves of chocolate donuts. The store clerk on duty who witnessed the theft overheard the one with the ponytail say, "Oi, mates, this be the wrong Springfield, methinks." Their northward trajectory suggests that the hoodlums are still headed to Des Moines, Iowa for Assembly Required on November 3rd and 4th. What could it mean? Anyway, shout out to Assembly Required. Excited for that one. Also shout out to RoboSkull Mark II, aka Skeletron. They posted some updates, including the 6-inch prototype first shots of the Mark II itself, like wing pieces and everything like that. The figure looks phenomenal in that seat, doesn't it? absolutely phenomenal. That's the 6-inch prototype. Beautiful looking figure. And then, of course, we've got these beautiful kind of like transparent aspects on the wings and the wing tips. Very exciting stuff. Can't wait to see this blooming thing in full. Cannot believe that. It's just beautiful. It's beautiful already with the first shots. And then, of course, we've got the factory sample for the 4-inch Marauder Wolf Trooper, which looks phenomenal as well. So yeah, that is that. Also, massive shout out to WORDBURGLAR for the Spinner Rack EP, which I feature on. I produced a track called Remember the Fan Base. So you can check that out on Bandcamp, link in the description. Yeah, go nuts. It's a pay whatever you feel scenario, I think, on Bandcamp. But yeah, very, very excited. And we're working on something as well right this minute. So it's non-stop in it, really. Absolutely non-stop. Anyway, that brings us to the end of the Full Force Weekly. Sorry it's been a quick one. I still got an hour out of it, but sorry it was been a bit of a quick and dirty scenario. Thank you for joining me, guys, and bearing with the whole situation. Life is just that way at the moment, but as soon as we get over that crest, as soon as we get over that hill, it'll be back to normal again, and we'll be doing 38 videos a day. I don't think that'll be the case. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me. As always, you'll need to stay fresh cheese bags because you have to. And sorry, I just realized something. No, I did do what I needed to do the other day. So stay fresh cheese bags. And after 3, you know what to do. 1, 2, 3. Full force. See you guys later. Make sure you get involved with the discussion by liking, sharing and commenting on these videos, and as always you can keep up with the show after listening by following on Twitter @TheFullForce, liking the Facebook page facebook.com/TheFullForce, and if you would like to contact the show you can message us on either of those platforms with feedback and questions. We also have a Patreon page, so if you want to show your support for the show, see your name up in lights on these videos, or enjoy exclusive bonus content, then check out patreon.com/TheFullForce podcast, or click on the link on any of the posts this podcast appears in. Full Force.